further debate. The member from Ottawa Centre.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for recognizing me to speak on what definitely is being categorized as, and I 100% agree, a historic day in the history of our province. I am very excited to speak on Bill 33, an act to amend the Human Rights Code with respect to gender identity and gender expression, in short referred to as Toby's Act, co-sponsored by my colleague from the MPP for Parkdale High Park, who I will speak a little later about, my colleague, the MPP from Whitby-Oshawa, and myself from Ottawa Centre. Madam Speaker, this is a historic day because we are about to recognize, enshrine, and codify the rights of trans Ontarians into our Human Rights Code. Last time we changed the Ontario Human Rights Code was in the mid-80s. A lot of people will remember the debate that took place at that time, because at that time we recognized the rights of gays and lesbians in our society by adding the term sexual orientation in the code. Now, we thought at that time, and we were doing something remarkable as well, which opened the doors to many incredible social changes in our society. We thought at that time that just adding sexual orientation, we were covering all kinds of people. But we recognized soon after that that was not the case, that we had excluded members of trans community from the protections of the Human Rights Code. And today, we're taking that very important historic step forward by adding gender identity and gender expression in the Human Rights Code so that no human being is left outside the scope, the protection of the Ontario Human Rights Code. The other reason I believe this is extremely historic, Madam Speaker, is because we're on the eve of the 50th anniversary of the Ontario Human Rights Code. I wish that the member from Parkdale High Park, the member from Whitby-Oshawa, and I had designed this such a way. Not the case. It happened. But historic indeed that on the 50th anniversary, we are taking yet another important, bold leadership step to modernize our human rights protection so that no Ontarian is left behind. I want to take this opportunity to really recognize the work and persistence of the member from Parkdale High Park. She is a great definition of a defender of those who need their voice to be spoken. She never steps back from speaking for the vulnerable in our community, and she's used this legislature, the perfect place to do so, to raise issues that need to be discussed. So I salute you, MPP De Novo, for bringing this bill not once, not twice, not thrice, but 4 times to ensure that we protect the rights of the trans community. And thank you for working with the rest of us and bringing us in the fold as part of this debate, as part of this bill, to ensure that we get it done this time around. I also want to recognize the MPP from Whitby-Oshawa for her courage, for standing up for this important issue and putting her name. Too many times, Speaker, we get caught in partisan issues, we get caught in ideological labels, and we make assumptions about ourselves and others as to how they will vote or speak on certain issues. I think what the member from Whitby-Oshawa demonstrated today and her work on this particular issue, that ideology is of no consequence when it comes to the protection of human rights. And I salute her for that courage. Thank you very much. And I want to thank all the members who will be voting in support of this bill for demonstrating leadership, for doing exactly what needs to be done, what is our role, that is that we always be on the lookout to protect Ontarians, that we be on the front lines of defending the rights of Ontarians. That is, after all, as lawmakers, is our ultimate responsibility. And I am excited, happy, and feel fulfilled that we are about to do that with, hopefully, the passage of Bill 33, the Toby's Act, which will codify gender identity and gender expression into the Human Rights Code. But Speaker, most importantly, the people who deserve the recognition, many of them has joined us today in the gallery, are the members of trans community for not giving up the fight, for believing in themselves for who they are, for seeking the recognition that is theirs to have. It's taken us that long to come along with you, to understand you, and to do what is so right. But you did not let it go. You deserve the real recognition today when, I have to say if, by law I'm required to do that, this law is passed. There's many among us from the trans community who unfortunately are not here to see the day. And we have to remember them, Madam Speaker. They are not here because they couldn't take the societal pressure that was put upon them. They are not here because they were discarded by society as some outcasts, which is not allowed in our society. They're not here because they choose not to be here because how they were looked at. We need to change that, Madam Speaker. This bill is one step forward to accomplish that. It's not going to happen overnight, but by enshrining, by codifying the rights of trans Ontarians into the Ontario Human Rights Code, I believe, I hope that we're sending a very strong message out in the broader community that discrimination of any form against anyone, trans or not, is not allowed. It's unacceptable, and after today, it's against the law. That's something that we need to work on. We need to work that in our workplaces. We need to work on in our neighborhoods, in our community centers, in our schools. I think Bill 13, the Accepting Schools Act, with this legislature so courageously passed, is a bold step in that direction as well, so that we protect our children, because we have to start early. We can't wait for later. We have to start early to educate our children, to accept everyone and to celebrate everyone. But that responsibility continues. That responsibility is on all of us. I want to thank the members of the trans community. A lot of the people who worked very, very hard on this issue are here today to don't stop the work. We're getting the legal protection today, but we need to do the educating. We need to do the engagement. We need to continue to speak to people to make them recognize that you are no different. We are all the same. And that work, Speaker, I vouch to continue to do along with trans community in Ontario and in my community in Ottawa. I think the other thing we're really demonstrating today is leadership, and hopefully we're sending a message across the country to all other jurisdictions. Hats off to Northwest Territories for having that kind of protection some time ago. Hats off to other jurisdictions like Manitoba and the House of Commons and Canada, also looking at that protection. But there's more places than just these two places, and there are members of trans community not only across Canada, across North America, but across the globe. And we need to make sure that these protections are accorded to them as well, because they deserve to be treated as like all of us, and they deserve the protection of the Human Rights Code or any other relevant human rights legislation. So, Madam Speaker, I will end my comments at that. I am reminded today yet again as to why I entered public service, the kind of things that I wanted to accomplish. This is definitely one big thing off my list of things to accomplish in terms of being a public servant as a representative of my community in Ottawa Centre. We all have personal reasons that we bring forward when we run and we are elected to this place, and that motivates us, that drives us to get things done. This is one of the issues around human rights, making sure that we remain and live in an equal society is an important one for me, and I will continue to work on these issues. I'm really happy to see that today we are about to make history. Thank you very much, Speaker. I look forward to hearing the other speakers.
Further debate?